Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Two Charlottes Spill the Tea. This week, we are going to talk about body image and all the kind of things that are around it, things that we found over the years that have helped us feel more confident in our bodies and working on our body image, and also, a little bit of kind of why we get these issues, like why, we've had our insecurities and how we've kind of dealt with it and stuff like that. It's kind of come off the back of last week's episode where we were talking about personal development, and a lot of us were thinking actually body image is probably one of the biggest areas that, for women especially, but also men who have insecurities and confidence issues, is normally around their bodies and how they feel about them and what they do and don't like. And so we thought we'd dig into it a little bit more and hopefully give you guys some hints and tips and things that we've done and over the years to kind of feel a bit better about everything. So I don't know if we want to just kind of start off with talking about where we sit with our kind of body image at the moment. I don't know if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a good idea actually. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So to be honest, this week's quite good that we're actually recording a body image podcast because I'm actually currently in a slight body image crisis. So, for people that don't know, I've been exercising regularly, eating healthily, counting calories, making sure that I'm doing everything I need to be doing to lose weight and get healthy and treat my body nicely. And I do intermittent fasting and it was going really well. And then all of a sudden, the last probably couple of weeks now, I'm just plateaued like nobody's business. So last week I actually managed to gain weight, and I don't even know how that happened because my clothes felt bigger and I was really good on calories and exercise and all this kind of stuff. So I was having a bit of a body image crisis, which is why it seemed like a really good time to actually do this podcast,
yeah,
as I'm kind of actively using the hints and tips that we're going to give you. I'm like actively using them on myself at the moment. Um, so yeah, but like, so for me, body image has been something I've probably always struggled with since I was probably, I'm gonna say about like 14, 15, which is probably a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, I was the same. When you're a teenager, you hit puberty, and that's when all of a sudden your body changes and this, that, and the other. But I also started taking medication for my mental health when I was 14. Anyone who
mm,
has taken any form of medication for mental health will know it makes you gain weight like crazy. And years of taking this medication has had such a detrimental effect on my body's ability to burn fat. And my metabolism is so slow, like so slow. So my weight has always been something that has been like a huge, I don't know, I don't like to use the word kind of like trigger because that really annoys me, but it is like a point where I'm like, that's going to send me into a spiral if all of a sudden I like put on an outfit that I wore 2 weeks ago and it looked great, and now all of a sudden I feel like a marshmallow. That's going to be like a huge thing. um but I'm definitely a lot better now, and with how I deal with it. So when I have these like body image crises, I used to just eat my feelings. So I'd just be like, oh, well, fuck it, I'm just going to eat all these donuts. Like, excuse my language, but
mm,
that's what it used to be like. It'd
mm,
be like, well, I'm fat, so this is just is what it is. I'm just going to keep eating and just get fatter. But now I'm a bit more positive about it, a bit more proactive about it. And like, so right now, for example, what I've decided to do is start doing different exercise classes. And I'm actually going to a class tomorrow. And it's like, it's different exercises to try and work different muscle groups and burn calories and burn fat in a different way. So I definitely am a bit more positive around my body image nowadays than I used to be.
yeah, yeah. And like I think a lot of that comes from, for me, it does anyway. So I'm just putting you in the same bracket as me here. But I think a lot of that comes from like making choices, actively doing things to try and make yourself feel better and to take care of yourself. Kind of helps you feel a lot better about your own body image when you know you're actively taking steps to help it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
think if you're doing something positive as well, then it turns the negative situation into a positive, because you
yeah.
can't fix negative with negative. You have to flip it and turn it into a more positive situation.
You have to look for the solution to the problem,
Yeah.
don't you? Like you have to think, right, that's my problem. So how you can either, and I like this is something we've actually said before in a different podcast, but you can either have a victim mindset, why me, and carry on like on your downward spiral, eat your feelings, not do anything about it, get worse and worse and worse. Or you can say, right, okay, this is my problem. So now I need to address that situation. And what can I do to make myself feel better? Um, like I do think that body image is just it's a huge thing for so many people.
Mm.
And even, when I said to you last week we were doing personal development, and when I was saying it to my husband, and he was like, is that about what you think about how you look and stuff like that? So it was like the first thing, it's like it's at the forefront of people's minds. I don't, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's anyone out there that can every morning, hand on heart, wake up and so they look in the mirror and are genuinely totally happy with everything about how they look.
No, I don't think
And
there's a person alive that can say that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have days when you're like, yeah, I look good today. But I don't think it's like body image is something that you have to kind of work on constantly. Like there's never a point in my life where I can say I've reached a point now where I'm 100% happy with the way I look every single day.
Mm.
That's just not happened. And I think I've accepted that it's something that if I want to be 100% happy with myself and my body image, it comes down to making sure that I put in 100% of the effort that I can do each day. And knowing if I know every day I've done my best at like my steps that I do to help myself feel better about how I look, then that's like the best thing for me.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not that probably sounds a bit depressing, but I don't mean it to sound like that. It's like I have good days and bad days, and I'm sure everybody else does as well. And I'm sure that I have a bit of body dysphoria. Like
Yeah.
I think I look a certain way, and then when I look back like in a year's time on the photos, I'm like, I looked really good. Like why was I so worried? So there is a touch of that. And on one hand as well, I get annoyed with myself for like having that level of vanity, because I think it doesn't matter what, like really, like I don't judge anyone else based on what they look like. I treat other people, as they come at me. Like it's for me, like if you're a beautiful person on the inside, that's what I care about. Like I don't care what someone looks like. It doesn't. I don't know why I have such a deeper level of care about how I look
Mm.
compared to other people, if that makes sense. Like if you get what I'm saying. But
I
but
understand.
I do. So it's something that I have to work on. But I know that when I put in effort to like work on the things about me that do bother me, that I feel a lot better about myself. But it is for me something that is, probably going to be there for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's going to be body image is always going to be something. I'm always going to be like, do I look okay in this? How's my hair today? Is my skin all right? Do I look fat in this? Is probably the
Yeah.
question I've asked myself more in my life than any other question I've ever thought about. Do I look fat in this?
Yeah. Can I pull this off today? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have, like we were saying this the other day, you have days where you put on an outfit and you think, oh, I look really good today. I really like this outfit. And I could put the very same outfit on the very next day, everything the exact same, and look in the mirror and I'd be like, why didn't anyone tell me I look so terrible?
Yeah.
Like, how did I possibly think this looked good yesterday? Like, where did I get it so wrong? And I just think that's part of having like body dysmorphia around the way you look and the way you feel.
Mm.
Like even recently I was really struggling, probably like a good chunk of last year, where I was sick over and over again, like last winter. And I couldn't exercise as much as I like to. And then my hip was bad. I had trouble with my sacroiliac joint, and that caused me a lot of pain. So I couldn't even go walking and stuff like that. And that kind of made me feel rubbish again about how I looked, because I felt like I wasn't doing the things I like to do to take care of myself. Now, I'm not, again, I'm also not saying that exercise is something that everyone has to do, but for me and you, it's definitely something that we love to do.
Mm.
And it's not like, I know you don't need to exercise to lose weight or anything like that, but for me, exercising makes me feel fit and healthy and
Yeah.
strong. And then that in turn makes me feel really good about myself. And because I know that, I'm feeling fit and strong and healthy, it makes me feel like I look fit and strong and healthy as well. So I think a lot of that is in my mind. And when I couldn't do those things, it definitely weighed me down. I started feeling a bit more like hide away in baggy clothes, and that sort of thing. But I have to say that the beginning of this year, I've been making a lot better choices. I set myself some really small goals, like to hit, say, 2,000 steps a day, then up it to 5,000 steps a day. And now I'm doing like 8 to 10,000 steps a day, plus exercising and stuff like that. So I slowly worked my activity levels back up again
Mm.
over the time. And that just makes me feel like really good, because I can feel myself getting fitter. I know that I can like dance around and jump around for a lot longer than what I could 4 months ago. So that definitely helps me feel better about the way I look, but it's definitely a mindset thing, I think,
Yeah.
there. Because I probably don't actually look any different. Like, to be honest, I don't weigh any different now to what I weighed 4 months ago. I don't think I've changed shape or anything like that, but I feel better about myself.
Yeah, and I think body image itself is a pure mindset thing. It's all because it is all in our head. Like, let's be honest, it's how we're feeling about ourselves is all in our head. And I completely agree with, everything you just said. The only thing I slightly disagree with is I do think you need, if you're in a position like I am, where I know that my medication really affects my ability to lose weight, I need to exercise to lose weight.
Mm.
I can be in a calorie deficit, hit all my macros, eat really healthily, drink all my water, sleep all the hours I can. But if I'm not exercising, that scale won't budge. And I
Yeah,
think it's like, and that's just me, that's my personal body type, metabolism, fitness level. Like, that's just how my body is. Like, I feel like I need to exercise. So when I can't, and then I'm still doing everything right, that's when my brain goes, oh, well, what's the bloody point? Like, I'm not losing any weight here. Like, and that's because I'm just not doing the exercise.
yeah, yeah. I do actually kind of agree with you there. Like, I know people can't exercise, and it is about what you eat for them as
Mm.
well. But the same as you, like, I'm on a lot of medication. I have hypothyroidism. My metabolism is very slow. For me, I really like being active as well. And I think that, I do kind of lose weight. It's not even that. I get in shape when I exercise. I tone up, my muscles get stronger. I start working, and I definitely slim down.
Yeah.
And I think that is to do with the exercise for sure. And not only that, the way it makes me feel, like my mind, like you say, mindset is everything. My mind falls to pieces when I can't be active.
Yeah.
And it does kind of spiral me a little bit. So then once I can start being active again, I just feel like proud of myself, and happy. And I suppose releasing a lot of endorphins, that makes me
That's
feel like more determined.
Yeah, well, it's obviously like exercise does release the endorphins, it releases serotonin, and those are all the happy hormones. And, so the more you can, and obviously, I'm not saying to somebody who is physically not in a position to exercise, you'll never sort yourself out because you can't exercise. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But if you are in a position to
Yeah,
move your body, I can guarantee you that you will feel better quicker because you can release those endorphins and serotonin, and you feel like you're actively going out there to do something about the way you look. So
yeah,
immediately by taking the first step of signing up to the gym and getting yourself on a diet plan, or not even a diet, but like a healthy eating plan, and counting your
Mm,
calories and watching the food that you're putting in, like immediately your brain is like in this healthy mindset of I've made this choice, I'm stepping forward, I'm taking control of it, so you feel better so much quicker.
yeah,
And because it is all in our heads, like, and that's not a criticism because it is,
yeah,
it's all about how we feel, because the people around us don't care what we look like, like you said, I don't care what you look like, or how, whether you think you've got, weight to lose or weight to gain or whatever. Like, as long as you're a good person, then you're welcome at my table. You don't have to look a certain way,
mm,
but it's all about what we think about ourselves.
yeah, it really is. It's so true. It's definitely an internal thing. Um, and it's about making the right kind of, like I always say to people, it's not about going on a diet or this or the other. It's everything to do with body image is lifestyle choices and mindset. And it's all focused around those same things.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when you can be a, the thing is as well, like I used to be so insecure about the way I looked. It was really important to me to make sure that I was a really nice person so that people would still like me. But that was back when I was younger and I was still feeling like, quite shallow, really. I was quite shallow about things. I was a teenager and I was really worried. But it did teach me that being a good person means so much more. But as I've got older, I realized, like exactly what you just said. I never look at someone and think, oh, they don't look very in fashion today. I'm not going to talk to them.
Yeah.
That would
Literally.
like, or they look like they've gained 10 pounds. I'm definitely not talking to them anymore. No, like I wouldn't even look at someone and think that. I just take people for who they are. Their personality shines through way more than the way they look. But like you said, body image is a very much a like a you thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very much about what you think about yourself. And I think that comes when we want to start looking at improving our body image, we need to really improve the way we think, treat, speak, um, and act to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a very private journey. Body image and how you feel about the way you look is a very private and personal journey that only you can do and only you can take control of.
Hmm.
And even if you're a desperately insecure person, there's still a lot of things you can start doing, like to make yourself feel better about the way you look. And if you see it as a problem, like, okay, this is a problem because I'm desperately insecure about my weight or I'm desperately insecure about my skin. You need to you need to understand first of all, I suppose, like how would you feel better about the way you look?
Yeah.
What would make you feel better about the way you look? What do you think you can do to make you feel better? And you have to understand that it's not just about the way you look, it's about the way you feel about yourself. And it's about learning to love yourself. And I think that's like one of the biggest parts of body image is learning to love yourself. And once you can grasp hold of that, you can start taking steps to, help yourself be
Yeah.
in a better place. And then even when you have days like what you and me do, where we're like, yuck,
Yeah.
you still love yourself and you can pull yourself out of that spiral very quickly compared to what, you maybe did 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the more, again, it's the same as, I feel like there's kind of an ongoing like trend with a lot of the stuff we talk about, that everything is a practice. Everything is all about keeping it consistently, and how we are now is a lot different to how we would have handled the situation before. Like, so for example, with how I
Mm,
was feeling about my body image last week when I got on the scales and I had gained weight and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why. And
mm,
I then, like, I spoke to you about it and we had a long conversation about it could be this, it could be this, it's, maybe it's this factor and that factor. And that was, for me, that was a massive thing in the right direction, because that was me doing something about it. I was investigating what could potentially be the problem. I know that I'm eating healthily. I know that I'm having the right amount of, calories and protein and exercise and water. And I knew I was doing all the right things, but just kind of investigating a little bit about external factors that could have been at play immediately made me feel better. So
Mm.
then this week I was like, right, clean slate. We're going to start again. I'm going to start a new fitness class at the gym so that I'm doing different exercises, working different, muscle groups. And maybe it was because my exercise routine was becoming a bit stagnant. I did the same thing all the time. Maybe it was, there was so many different things it could have been, but just by digging into it a little bit made my mindset switch completely and say, now I'm going to have a solution. I'm going to find a solution to this problem rather than doing what I would have done, which is, well, obviously it's because I have a really crappy metabolism. So screw it. I'm just going to eat what I want because it's just not worth it. So I think what might be quite good for us to chat about now would be some kind of practical advice that we can give people, things that both me and you do on a regular basis, and things that are, yeah, like practical steps in the right direction. And I think, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that I think this starts with how you talk about yourself internally. So before you start making any, drastic changes to your lifestyle and your exercise regime and joining a gym and hiring a PT and doing all these crazy things, I think you need to kind of start talking to yourself better. And the way that, I say this to myself on quite a regular basis is, would you talk to your best friend the way that you talk to yourself? And I can definitely tell you, I would not say some of half the stuff that I say to myself, I wouldn't say to somebody I cared about. And so I have to kind of like check myself. So I think self-talk is definitely the starting point, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. I really agree with you. Like, and we're all guilty of it. We're all really guilty of, just giving ourselves those little downer comments as the day goes on. And I think half the time we don't even realize that we're doing it. Like I was just saying to you, if you walk past a window to a shop and you catch sight of yourself in the reflection, your mind will immediately go to, oh God, I didn't realize I looked like that, or oh God, looking a bit frumpy today, or whatever. And it's like, it's for me anyway. I mean, I'm just putting everyone in the same bracket as me, but it's so natural to just look at myself and pick a negative.
Mm.
And that's the switch that you need to flip, like that. Instead of picking a negative, you have to try and pick yourself up. Like I would not look at a friend of mine or someone I cared about and go, "Oh, God, you look terrible today." I just just
You just
wouldn't do it.
wouldn't.
I mean, it just wouldn't happen. Oh, you look dumpy. I wouldn't speak to somebody in that way. Like I wouldn't speak to someone else that way, because I wouldn't want to make someone feel that bad. So we have to become aware of the way that we speak to ourselves in normal everyday life. And instead of those like horrible things, we have to start thinking like, oh, that's a really nice color on me. Oh, I'm looking really nice today. My hair's looking good today. Just these, pick the things. Why do we always pick the things that we feel negative about to focus on about ourselves,
It's
when
so
there's
easy.
so much positives that we could be looking at instead? And I think that's a really good starting place. Yes, awesome. Yeah, so like that's what I think, really, that it's a really good starting place to work on body image, is becoming aware of the negatives that you say to yourself throughout the day. And if you do become aware that you've just given yourself um, a negative comment or thought, then turn it around straight away and think two or three positive thoughts about the way that you look and the way you feel about yourself. Remember that you have to be as kind to yourself as what you would be to somebody else. And I think that's like that. regardless of like what you said of anything else, I think when you want to start changing your own body image and your views on how you can feel, you have to start becoming aware of the things you say about yourself and changing them to a positive.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is definitely step one when it comes to
Mm,
changing your body image. And one like method that, you know, the person I follow the most, Gabby Bernstein, always talks about is called her choose again method, where when you notice yourself saying something negative about yourself, kind of take a moment, take a step back, like don't judge yourself for saying something negative. So kind of honor the fact you're like, yeah, that was said, it's okay. And then choose the next positive feeling around that moment. So if you are looking in the mirror thinking, oh God, my hair looks awful. So like take that moment to be like, okay, that was a bit harsh. Shouldn't have said that to myself. The next positive step up from that is, you know, actually the clothes I'm wearing look really good, or my makeup looks nice, or, you know, I like those shoes that I'm going to wear today. Like pick a positive out of it. And but don't be hard on yourself for being negative, because that then just makes it even harder, I think, to flip the negative into a positive. If you keep judging yourself for saying negative things, then it's just a lethal
yeah.
combination. Um, but then I think the next thing, you know, practical steps, once you've kind of started to get that mindset on track, you then want to
Yeah,
start
absolutely.
setting your goals, you know, like set your end goal of where you want to be, and then set yourself some
Hmm.
realistic baby steps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after you've kind of got your mindset on track, I think the next logical step is to start setting goals and setting, you know, the vision of where you want to be, what it is you want to do, whether that be a weight goal or a fitness goal, or just you know, fit into a certain size dress or feel a certain way, you know, set down that actual goal, but then break it down into like as many baby steps as possible, because the more little things you can tick off your list, it kind of snowballs into this like positive effect. You know, like you were saying earlier about setting your step goals to be like a small amount of steps, then increasing it, increasing it, increasing it, that just snowball. That's like a snowball effect. So
Mm.
yeah, I definitely think the next thing would be to set goals or do like a vision board. And because I showed you I have a photo on my phone that I use through an AI app that is me at the like the body size that I want to be. So I have
Yeah, I
that
really
saved
like
in my
that.
phone. That's my final goal. Like I know that it's going to take me a while to get there because, you know, of the hurdles that I have to go over, but I'm really visual when it comes to planning anything or goal setting or wanting to do anything. So I use this app. It's called the Remini app. If anybody wants to give it a go, it's free. Um, and I just played around with that one and found the photos of like seeing myself in my goal image. And then that's there whenever I kind of feel like I want to eat chocolate and cake.
I really liked that when you showed me that. I was like, oh, that's such a good idea because I'm the same as you. Like, I'm a very visual person. So being able to kind of design myself the way I want to be or what my, the way my goals are, and then seeing that, it helps me stay focused and stay on track. Um, so I really like that idea. It's like it's something I would have like a little vision board for body goals on my phone. I could look at each day and be like, right, okay, I'm one step closer today to getting where I want to be. But
Yeah.
I think as well, when you're doing those things, it's really important to keep up with the mindset work on self-love.
Hmm.
And like, so we've got the self-talk. I think it's really nice to do something, even if it's just like once or twice a week, where you do like you can lie down on your bed and do a meditation where you focus on like parts of your body and tell yourself in your head, you don't have to say it out loud, but like you can have one hand on your heart, one hand on like it's kind of just above your belly button, it's your solar plexus. And then just deep breathing, take a few nice deep breaths and breathe in like got like I'm so visual. So when I do this, I imagine that I'm breathing in like pure golden light with like little bits of glitter and butterflies and stuff. And it's like breathing in this like really lovely, pure energy into my body. And I always blow out black smoke, like negative, all the negative.
Yeah.
So I do that until I breathe in gold light, blow out gold light till the black smoke's all gone. So I feel like, right, I'm just relaxing my body and, you know, letting the negativity of the day go out. So I feel like I've cleaned my insides out with a bit of positive first. And then this is what I would recommend because, like I said, I'm a very visual person. So what my step again, like just a couple of times a week, more if you need to, then just focus on the parts of myself that I'm maybe not so impressed with, you know, and start thinking, I love you anyway. Like
Yeah.
you're perfect as you are. Like my legs work, they get me around places. So as much as I'd like them to be slimmer and more toned and have less cellulite, they still are absolutely perfect and they work. And I'm very grateful for that because especially having had the issues with my SI joint and feeling what it felt like not to be able to walk and stuff so much, like I'm really grateful for that. And I love the fact that my body works, you
Yeah.
know, that those things work and that I know that I am going to do my absolute best to help them be their best self that they possibly can be. And I just focus on bits of myself. And I think, like, you know, I thank my body for the things it can do. And a big thing for me was learning to love my body for the things it can do and not hate on it for the things it can't do.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, that part of like the self love is really important for my body image because even if I'm not happy about the way something looks, I have to learn to flip that negative and be happy about the way it works and the fact that it is mine and it's my body and I'm alive and I'm here and I'm now. So those are things that I like to do as well. And like that with the vision board, like you were saying, the picture, the self-talk, those are three really powerful like visualization and kind of goal setting tasks that you
Mhm.
can do. And then depending, obviously, like what we've said, setting realistic goals. So if your goal, like for me, my goal was to become more active because I know when I'm active, I feel better. It helps me lose weight, and then I feel better about myself. So like I said to you, like you just said, it was like do 2,000 steps a day. And once I'd done that for a month consistently, I was like, okay, up it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just found that it was actually going up by itself anyway. I didn't have to like, but I like to make the goals. I didn't have to make the goal because I was doing more and doing more
Yeah.
and doing more. But if I make the goals, I can tick them off.
And that's the
And
thing. I
that's
love,
a huge thing, like being able to tick off one of your little
yeah,
goals.
I love that. I love being able to like tick things off to say, yep, achieved it. Yep, achieved it. Because that in itself as well is a hugely
Yeah.
positive thing of being able to actually tick something
Yeah.
off is a massive positive reinforcement. And that gives you so much good energy and high vibration around, you know, your goal because you are ticking those things off. And that's why I said break
Yeah.
it down into as small as physically possible so that you have mini wins on a more regular basis. So it helps you to keep going.
Yeah. And another thing that I think we both wanted to touch on as well was when it comes to like obviously we're talking a lot about body image to do with weight because those are the things that
Yeah.
me and you both have our biggest kind of body image issues around is our weight and our size and what dress size we want to be. So for me it would be one of the biggest things. I was saying this to you the other day was food guilt
Oh,
and
yeah.
labeling food good and bad and eating a donut and then feeling terribly guilty about it afterwards and giving myself a hard time. And then I would, okay, I've eaten this and this today, it's terrible, now I can't eat for the next 3 days to even it out. And I was in such bad habits. It's
Mm.
self-sabotage at its finest, binge eating or not eating properly and then eating terrible foods. So for me, changing my mindset around food has been like a huge thing, and learning not to label food good and bad, but just, to understand the calorie content of food and the protein levels. Now, this obviously wouldn't work for everyone, but I found for me this was really beneficial because now I know I can eat a bag of crisps or a chocolate bar and I don't feel guilty about it. And that's been
Yeah.
like massive for my body image, that I know, right, I'm in calories today and I've hit my protein goals for the day. So it doesn't matter if I have a chocolate bar, like that's all good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's been a really big step for me. And also the whole oh, had a bad day, so that's it, this diet's off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting back on track the next day is huge. Even if you have one bad day, just getting back on it is really important, I think.
Yeah, just remembering that the day resets every night and it starts again. So if you've had a bad day, because like I'm also very much like an emotional eater or an emotional not eater. So when
Mm,
I'm stressed, I eat my feelings. When I'm anxious, I don't eat anything. And I know that sets me on, depending on, the spiral, whether it's a good or a bad one, either I'm eating loads or I don't eat anything. And sometimes it's really hard to then be like, right, I need to get back on track. But you just have to remember that every day is a brand new day. So every day you get the opportunity to be better than you were the day before, but
yeah,
not shaming yourself because you've had a bad day. So not being like, I've had a bad day, so it's a bad life. That's it. Everything's ruined. There's no point trying. I'm just going to give up and I'll just look like this forever because you had one stressful day. Like it's just being really, and again, it all comes down to mindset and self-love and self-care. It's just being really kind to yourself and
yeah,
just remembering that working on your body image, whether, because obviously, like you said, we're focusing a bit more on the kind of weight loss side of it because I know that me and you, that's our goals. And a lot of people I speak to say, oh, I need to lose weight, I need to tone up here, I need to do this and this, and that's kind of a big fixation. But making sure that you remember it's a long process. It's,
yeah,
a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to losing weight, getting healthy, building muscle, toning up, slimming down, whatever it is you want to do to make yourself feel better when you look in the mirror. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, consistency, and like dedication, but it's okay to fall off the wagon. And
yeah,
that's why I think it's really important, like you said, not labeling food good and bad, because as long as you're tracking what you're doing, it's okay. I think everything's okay in moderation,
yeah, me
so
too.
when it's like a birthday or Christmas or a celebration, I'm not going to say, oh no, I can't eat that. I can't have any birthday cake. Like I do intermittent fasting. So normally I can't eat until 12 o'clock. But obviously it was Mother's Day yesterday and we went out for brunch. The whole family got together for breakfast. That's at 9:45. Normally I wouldn't be able to eat at that point, but I'm not going to say no to going and having a buffet breakfast with the family because of the weight loss journey that I'm on. So I
Mm.
just changed my fasting hours so that I stopped fasting at 9:30 in the morning so that then by 9:45 when we were sitting down for breakfast I could still eat and enjoy it and not be able to say no to anything and
And
limit
not feel
myself
guilty as
and
well.
not feel bad about it either. That's it. Like
Mm,
not feel guilty
mm,
for enjoying myself. So I think as
yeah,
long as you're keeping track of what you're eating, not putting any negative feelings around any food,
yeah,
having everything in moderation, and also drinking your water. Like
yeah.
I never realized how important water was until I started working on my health and fitness. And looking after my body from the inside, I never realized how important it was to drink water. And like, Grace will tell you now, if she tells me there's anything wrong with her, the first thing I ask her is, well, how much water have you drunk today?
Yeah.
Like, she got in the car today and was like, oh, I need to take some painkillers when I get home. I've got such a headache. I'm like, well, how much water did you drink today? Like, that's the first thing I ask whenever there's anything wrong, because 90% of the time, it's because you've not drunk enough water. Your body's dehydrated and it's not working properly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It really is. And I just wanted to touch on something you said there as
Mm.
well, which was give yourself time.
Yeah.
So I think we live in such a fast-paced society and we're so used to instant gratification. And
Yes.
one of the things I say to people that are starting on a weight loss journey is that please be gentle with yourself because it's going to take time. Weight loss is a really hard journey, and it really is a journey of self-discovery and self-love because I think like it's all about mindset and learning to love yourself. Yeah, so like then when you say like you're on a diet or you change your lifestyle and you want to lose weight and you're like you weigh yourself, you've done everything and you weigh yourself at the end of the week and you've lost 1 pound, and so many people get disheartened because they're like, oh, I wanted to lose like 7 pounds, or this girl's losing 7 pounds. But you have to understand that everybody's journey is different because everybody's body is different. And like for me, I have a slow metabolism. So if I can consistently lose 1 pound a week, I'm absolutely delighted because
Yeah.
that's 52 pounds a year, which is massive. And if you, it depends how much weight you've got to lose, but you're not going to go from 20 stone to 8 stone in a year.
No.
I mean, not unless you have surgery. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen. So you have to remember to give yourself time, love the journey, and celebrate your wins, no matter how small or big they are, because as long as you're keeping your goals in mind and you don't just screw it all up and throw it away because you had a bad day or something, you didn't lose as much weight as you wanted, or you've had a skin flare up or whatever it is that's upset you about your body image, you dust yourself down, you focus on the wins that you've had so far, and you look at your plan. And maybe you might need to make adjustments to your goals, to your plans. You might have a setback, or you might, jump forward faster than you thought, or you might have
Mm.
to take a couple of steps back. That's something I've had to learn recently, is that sometimes you have to slow down
Yeah.
to get where you want to be. We can't expect these things to happen overnight. And I think that in today's society, a lot of the time, we get frustrated when the changes we want to see don't happen instantly. And we
Yeah.
forget, that we're only human and we have to give ourselves time.
And I am so guilty of that, like, especially over the last few weeks where I've really been focusing on the food I've been eating, my calorie intake, and going to the gym, and then having this disheartened moment of figuring out I've gained weight. I was just like, oh my God, this is awful. And I was really hard on myself because I was like, doing all the things and it just didn't happen. So I think you have to remember that it is a long, long process. And that's why,
Mm,
we keep circling back to this one thing of that's why mindset is step one. When you're looking to change the way you feel about your body in any aspect, step one is the mindset of the whole thing.
yeah.
Because if your mindset's not in check, then it's all going to fall apart at the first hurdle. As soon as something happens that throws you off course, or you don't lose as much weight as your next door neighbor who's doing the same diet as you, and then that's why, and I'm going to put this out there, and I'm so sorry for anybody who is listening that does Weight Watchers or Slimming World. I'm putting this out there now. Those cultures are toxic. Like, toxic. Going into a room with 20 women and having to weigh yourself in front of everyone and then say
Oh,
why you gained weight or how you lost weight is horrid, because
mm,
everyone who maintained or gained weight that week or didn't lose as much as the other person is then left leaving that room thinking, what did I do wrong? Where did I
Yeah.
go wrong? And then, you know, you're then celebrated of slimmer of the week if you lost the most weight out of the group. Like, how toxic is that as a culture? And I'm sorry if that gets me backlash in any way, but I just think that is seriously the wrong way to go about losing weight.
Oh, it's so like downheartening for someone who does have a slow
Mm.
metabolism or is on medication as well, and
Yeah,
can't just drop weight like super easy, or what happens if you're on your period that week and you've gained some
yeah.
water weight, or it just, yeah, I wouldn't want to weigh myself in a room full of people.
No, and
I
I
mean,
did
I
it
don't like to
like,
weigh myself in front of anyone, and it's start bollock naked first thing in the morning.
well, this is it. The way
To
the way either of us weigh ourselves probably is a very private
probably
affair.
get us arrested if we did that
Let's
in
be
public
honest. If I
anyway.
did
But
that
like,
in my local town hall with 20 other women, there would definitely be a whole different kind of
there
meeting.
would be some eyebrows
But
raised for sure.
me and my mum did it. We did Slimming World. We went to the groups, and every week that I didn't lose weight or I didn't lose as much as other people in the group, I would leave and go home and shame myself all the time
Mm,
and feel
mm.
bad
And
about
stress
myself
eat probably.
and then stress eat. And then,
Mm,
but then I would start to get in this thing of I don't want to go and get weighed because I'm
yeah,
scared
yeah.
of what's going to happen. I'm scared of then having to kind of defend myself as well, because it was always a case of
Mm,
you then had to be like, they'd be like, oh, Charlotte lost half a pound. What went wrong that week? Or Charlotte gained a pound. So what did you eat? Where did you go wrong? And I'm like, you're having to then defend yourself to like 15 strangers. And
that's horrible.
that's like immediately shaming. And again, I'm putting it out there as my opinion, and I'm sorry if anyone listens to it happens to be a Slimming World rep or a Weight Watchers rep or think differently, but that's just my opinion of going to those groups. I feel like that just puts such a negative surrounding about
Yeah,
it, all about being the physical number of pounds you've lost. And there's
yeah,
so much more to it. Like there's so much more to a weight loss journey that is not just about the number that's on the scales.
yeah. And even like what we keep saying, it's not even just about the weight that you're losing or the weight loss at all. It's really about your mindset. And if you're
Mm.
not like, if you're not feeling, if you've got that kind of negative energy around your weight loss journey, that's really detrimental to your journey of
Mm.
like self-love and self-discovery, and learning to love you for who you are.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to think as well, right? So say you're a size 16 and you've got this goal that you want to be a size 8. If you don't love yourself, when you get to a size 8, you're still not going to be happy,
Mm.
and you're still not going
Exactly.
to love your body. So if you don't do the internal work on your journey, you're never going to find that satisfaction, because
Yeah.
you're always going to have an issue with the way you feel about your image and the way you look.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
so important to do that internal work, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think also, you know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is where a lot of eating disorders come from. And
Yeah,
I don't know too much about eating disorders. I have a very or had a very unhealthy relationship with food. I've never had an actual eating disorder. However, I think if you're not happy mentally, it doesn't matter what size clothes you wear or what number is on the scale because you're still going to be unhappy. And that's
yeah.
when people then binge and purge or don't eat or get addicted to diet pills or stupid crazy diets. And trust me, I've done them all anyway. Like we would when
Mm.
we were prepping for this conversation, we were talking about the crazy diets we've both done, and some of them I should be dead. I'm sorry. Like I
Oh my
I
God.
should be dead. Like, you know, blimmin' pepper and lemonade and latte and cigarettes as a diet plan is,
Latte, cigarettes, and Pro Plus.
yeah, not healthy.
No.
But I definitely think if you're not doing the internal stuff, it doesn't matter. You can lose all the weight you want or get to the fitness goal that you want to get to. But if
Mm.
you don't love yourself, then it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
pointless. It's
Yeah.
a pointless endeavor because you're
A
never going to
wasted
be
effort.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll always find something else to pick on about
Hmm.
yourself and to not like yourself about. So, like, probably step one through to 10 is learning to love yourself
Yeah.
and working
All
on
the
your
steps.
mindset. All the steps.
Yeah. All the steps
All
are
the steps.
do X, Y, Z, but love yourself at the same time.
Mm,
Do X, Y,
mm.
Z, but work on your mindset at the same time. Because
Mindset, mindset, mindset.
it's crucial. Like honestly, I feel like that should be our like catchphrase is
Yeah.
but work on your mindset. Like
Mindset.
that's the thing, like that's our buzzword, but it's true because there's no point doing anything if your mindset isn't in it. Like
Yeah.
if you're not,
Yeah.
positive and feeling good mentally, then it doesn't matter what you do physically.
Yeah.
This is touching on a whole different topic, but this is why people who seemingly on the outside have everything unsubscribe from the world.
Yeah.
They have everything, they have success, they have money, they have, family, they have everything, but they're so unhappy on the inside because they haven't
Yeah.
done the internal work.
You can be picture perfect, but if you haven't done the internal work,
Pointless.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. Mindset is the be all and end all
Hmm.
of everything. Like, you have to get your mind in check and you have to learn to love and appreciate yourself. And, you know, it's true. People say if you don't love yourself and appreciate yourself, it makes it very hard for other people to do the same.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, the most intimate relationship you will ever have in your life is with yourself.
Yeah.
So if you look at the intimate, close relationships you have, you you know, you would never treat that person with disrespect or um you know, tell them horrible things about themselves or not
No.
look after them to the best of your abilities. If you have someone that is, you know, just your absolute loved ones, the people you hold dearest to you, you do everything you can to make their life happy and to make them feel good and, you know, to do right by them. And
Mm.
yet, a lot of the times we don't do that to ourselves. And for me, that is definitely the beginning and the end of everything is learn to treat yourself as if you were your most prized possession.
Yeah, I love that.
Because, you know, you have to, you only have one life, you only have one body. If you don't love it for what it can do and for who you are, then you need to work on that big time.
Yeah, and that is the starting point, and that's why, at the beginning of this conversation, step one was to look inside, work on how you feel about your body as it is now.
Yeah.
And, I really liked, what you were saying, obviously, about, a few times a week, just sitting there and really appreciating what your body can do and not what it
Yeah.
can't do. And something, just to add on that actually is anybody who's had children, we need to appreciate that our bodies have birthed a human. Like,
Yeah.
so one, it's going to look different. That's a given. But
Yeah.
how incredible are our bodies in the state that they're in right now because they brought life into the world. And both me and you have done it twice.
Yeah.
We brought two children into the world and our bodies have changed twice. But
Yeah.
even though there is so much that I'm still working to change, I am so grateful for the fact that my body grew and birthed two children. And that's something
Yeah, which is incredible.
people don't, I think is really underrated as well. I don't think we
Mm.
give ourselves as women enough credit for what our bodies do when you
I
go through
think we actually,
childbirth.
as women, generally, I'm gonna like, you know, generalize women here, but I think as women, with the things that we go through, hormones, the
Mm,
hormonal fluctuations, our periods, the water weight, boobs, you know, all of this stuff
yeah,
that we have that men don't have to deal with.
true.
Um, I think we actually give ourselves a much harder time mentally because of it. We don't think, geez, our bodies are going through a lot. You know, let's give
Mhm.
ourselves a break and a pat on the back for everything that we contend with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. We actually criticize ourselves and, you know, talk negatively to ourselves and make ourselves feel bad about these things that we go through. We all know when we're on our monthly cycle, our hormones change, our needs change, our
Mhm.
bodies change through the month. They hold water, they let water go, there's inflammation, bleeding, all of these sorts of
Yeah.
things. And we don't give ourselves enough kindness,
No.
really, for what our bodies have to go through.
No, do you know, I completely agree, and I can't believe we haven't actually touched on this part sooner, because actually
Mm,
one of the things when it comes to flipping your mindset around how your body is you have to remember what your body does, what it,
yeah,
especially as a woman, what it
yeah,
does within that 28-day cycle. Like, because
yeah,
your body changes every 28 days, and it's basically like a weekly thing. You go through the different stages every single week, and
yeah,
I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. I know that I don't give my body enough credit for what it actually does manage to achieve on a daily basis. And I'm definitely going to use what you've said about every, couple of days a week sitting there and really like appreciating what my body is able to do rather than what it's
yeah.
not able to do.
Yeah, so absolutely like celebrating the things that our bodies can do and not focusing on the things we can't do is, a really important part of respecting your own body image and learning to love yourself. And the same is said for, focusing on the positives about the way you look rather than the negatives about the way you look. So I think, something that we wanted to do to bring to people was just, should we just go over the points, just some things we wanted to do to like help people with
Yeah.
was to, let people know what we do and that we still suffer with these problems
Mm.
as well. So that was one thing. We wanted to give you some tips for what we were doing each day, or each week to help us with our body image. I think I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Oh, sorry about that. um, yeah. So, and then like how we work our like you using your app.
Yeah.
For me, that is like I love that. I really, really love that, and I'm definitely going to go and do that myself. And I think of just, like the self-talk, setting realistic goals, remembering, to not feel guilty about the foods we eat and all those sorts of things. I feel like I've really inspired myself to, you know, give myself a bit more love and give myself a
Mhm.
bit more respect and love myself a bit more. I think that talking all these things through with you, like the things that you do and the things that I do, it's just reminded me, to pour a bit more into myself.
Yeah, and I think I'm exactly the same. I've definitely come away from this conversation that we've had feeling like I need to put some more effort into how I talk to myself. And I think it's come at a good time that we're talking about this, given the fact that, I'm
Mm,
calling it my little body image crisis that I'm going through at the moment. So this has actually given me some really helpful tips. And I've been kind of noting some stuff down as we've been talking of things that I'm going to do. And I definitely think it's inspired me to love myself a little bit more, give
yeah.
myself a little bit more grace and credit for what I can actually achieve. And, remember all the things that I also have achieved,
Yeah.
with my body, even though there's so much stuff that I sit there and think, oh, I want to be sick. But I've actually accomplished quite a lot. And, I think we definitely need to love ourselves a bit more. So that's what I'm taking away from this conversation for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too, absolutely. It's just reminded me to treat myself the same way I would want someone else to treat me, or the
Yeah.
same way I would treat someone I loved about. And we want to help everybody as well
Mm.
to, be able to do these things and the things that we've talked about. So we wanted to give people who are on our mailing list a little freebie to download, didn't we?
Yes, we did, which I'm really excited about because this makes me feel like we're proper. This is a proper podcast now because we get to give away stuff for free and that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do like a little planner to help you with kind of self-love talk, goal setting, and yeah, learning to love your body image a little
Yeah.
bit better. So we're going to have that a link to that. I think you're going to sort that out on
Yeah,
the
so
description.
I'll put all the notes in the notes of obviously the description. I will
Yeah.
link down there obviously where you need to contact us to get on the mailing list, and then we can send you out the link to download this kind of goal setting planner. Um,
Workbook.
Workbook thing, which I'm really excited about. And hopefully, we'll be able to do a few more of these as well to kind of coincide with some other episodes that we're doing.
Yeah,
We can put together a few more things, but I'll make sure I put all of the details into the notes and stuff of how to get your hands on it.
perfect. Yeah. And again, like thanks so much everyone for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you.
If you like the podcast, remember to give us a like and a follow. Find us on Facebook and
Yep.
over on
TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah, so I was going to say Snapchat,
Yes.
and I was like, that's not
No.
right. That's not right.
No, we are on TikTok. We are on TikTok
Yeah,
as well. I don't know
yeah,
how to work Snapchat. I'd need to bring in my 16-year-old to tell me how that works because that's a completely
yeah.
foreign entity to me. But TikTok, I know.
Facebook and MySpace was was where I
Oh
was at.
God, MySpace. Oh my God, I
Do you remember
remember
that?
that. And Bebo. Did you ever have a Bebo
No,
page?
I never had a Bebo page. No.
Oh, I had a Bebo page, and depending on how many friends you had, you got all these different love heart ratings and stuff. It was just shocking. But oh, now I'm showing my age.
Oh, yeah, those were the days. Like when you
Showing
could
my
click on
age.
someone's page and their favorite song would play to you.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And you could always tell somebody's mood depending on what song they had playing on their
Yeah,
page.
you could. Oh, it's
Mine was
funny.
always something
Funny
by
days.
Blue October. You can tell where my head was at.
Mine was oh my God, what's it? System of a Down for quite a
Oh, love
while.
that. Yeah, love that.
So that's where I was at. That was the phase I was going through back then.
Oh, those were the days. But yeah, no, we are on Facebook and TikTok. So yeah, you can find us over there.